Welcome to This Week in High School Sports. I'm Teresa Whipple, and Steve, I should have brought my party hat. You have your glasses.
I came prepared. We're broadcasting on New Year's Day, and this is what we had for New Year's Eve, so why not carry it over into the morning and have a little fun with it? It's 2017.
It is. Happy New Year to everybody, and we'll start by thanking our sponsor, Red Onion Burgers. If you are going into 2017 and maybe wanting somebody else to do the cooking for a change, they're right there to help you out. They have online ordering, and they have a new app, and they are ready to serve you at redonionburgers.com. So, basketball was the story last week, right?
It was. The Mount Lake Terrace holiday tournaments took place. I always hesitate to use the term tournaments because it's not true bracket play, but what it is it's 2 days for both the boys and the girls teams to get together and play teams they don't normally see otherwise, and a lot of good action going on over at the Mount Lake Terrace High School. On Tuesday and Wednesday of the week, they had 8 boys teams, 2 of which were Mount Lake Terrace and Edmonds-Woodway. And then Thursday and Friday, it was the girls, 12 different teams, 2 of which were also Mount Lake Terrace and Edmonds-Woodway.
Yeah.
Mixed results from our local teams. Mount Lake Terrace, the boys, day 1 of their tournament, losing an absolute heartbreaker. Seaholm hit a shot from about 8 or 9 feet away at the buzzer to defeat them by 1. And then they ended up losing to a very good Union team the next day, a 4A school that I think is going to make it to the Tacoma Dome this year. Edmonds-Woodway, however, different results. The girls playing really well for their tournament. They defeated a very good Redmond team fairly handily on the first day. And then on day number 2, they defeated Columbia River. Interesting game. The Edmonds-Woodway girls were down by 10 at one point early in the second quarter. And then they ended up scoring like 30-something points in a row at one point. They hit 11 three-pointers in the second half. Defeated Columbia River 64-24, and just a lot of fun to watch them play. They're starting to gel really well right now, and going to be an interesting team to watch moving forward. And then the Edmonds-Woodway boys. They played a very, very strong North Kitsap team and took them right down to the final minute, losing a close game. So they lost for the second time this year. Bounced back really nicely the next day, however, picking up a huge victory and over Ferndale, and then they went on to defeat Meadowdale in the Rubber Chicken game on Friday night, a game that always makes you smile. I know you like the Rubber Chicken title. That was a makeup game from a snow-out game from a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So Edmonds-Woodway picking up 2 nice victories to end their week. They go into 2017 with a record of 8 wins and 2 losses, playing very good basketball. And we brought 2 of their players into the studio to talk to them about their seasons thus far. Keaton McKay, a senior who is playing varsity for the first time this year, and Ryan Peterson, who's been playing varsity since his sophomore year, came in and sat down and we talked Warriors basketball and what the expectations are moving forward. Here's that interview. The Edmonds-Woodway Warriors boys basketball team ends the 2016 year on a high note, getting 2 out of 3 games this week that they played. Played a 2-game series over at Mount Lake Terrace in the holiday tournament, picking up a nice victory over Ferndale. And then on Friday night, they won the Rubber Chicken match over rival Meadowdale, 81-49. And with us right now, 2 of the starters on that team, 2 seniors, Keaton McKay and Ryan Peterson. Guys, this is a team that's the defending district champs. You started off the season 8-2 so far. Now you're starting to roll into league play. Ryan, you've been on this varsity team for a few years now. Mm-hmm. How are you feeling about the way things have started this year?
You know, it's really exciting. More the same, more or less. I mean, last year we were 8-2. We actually ended up rattling off 13 in a row after that, so a little bit of pressure to do the same this year. But it'd be nice to continue our winning ways and create a winning culture the way that we've been able to so far.
And Keaton McKay, you're a first-year varsity player. Ryan just put a little pressure on you guys, right? You rattled off 13 wins in a row to end your season last year. 1 game at a time, right? But I've got to think for you, you're the leading scorer right now on this team. I've got to think you're enjoying your senior year so far.
Yeah, it's been nice. It's been fun, so yeah.
You're having a good time.
Yep,
Let's talk about these holiday tournaments a little bit. They're always a bit different in the sense that everybody's coming off of Christmas break. There's no school. You're playing teams you really don't know very well. Ryan, do you enjoy these games? Is it how seriously do teams take them? I guess for that matter.
Yeah, absolutely. It's easy for teams to take it a little bit more lightly. Obviously, we had a couple of guys go away on holiday vacation. That's one of the things that our coach mentions is at the start of the year during tryouts. With if you're going away on holiday break, whether that helps you make the team or not, just because you want to be focused and you want to make sure that you're giving your best effort in the game. And I mean, it's really easy to overlook these teams because you don't really know about them. They're not usually league opponents, but it's great to sort of go out there and get a feel for just sort of a blank matchup and a new team.
And the Friday game was a little interesting, Keaton, in that it's Meadowdale. It's a rival. It's Edmonds School District team. But this game didn't count in the standings. This is a game that was a makeup from a snow-out game a few weeks ago. But it's a Meadowdale team that you guys obviously know very well. You don't live that far away from them. How important is it for you guys to get a victory over a team like that, knowing that there's so much on the line in terms of just rivalry?
Oh, it's very important just because, we see them around town all the time, and if we would have lost, then I know a lot of kids on the team just from playing with them recently, like in the past years, and going to school with them. So if we would have lost that game, they would have gave me crap about it. So
you'd hear about it a little bit.
Yeah, I'd hear about it. So.
Definitely. And the two of you are both starters on this team. Before I ask you about some of your teammates, I'm going to talk about the two of you. I'll have you do it with one another here. I won't put pressure on you to talk about your own positives, but. Keaton, I'll start with you. Mr. Peterson next to you here, one of your starters and your big man down low. Tell me about his game a little bit and what he brings to the table for the Warriors.
Ryan Peterson, he brings to the table. He's probably our leading rebounder, tallest guy on the team. When I miss a shot, I'm relying on him to get the rebound and put it back up, and that's usually what he does. So that really helps us. And he's great in transition too. He runs the floor well, so that's great. That's what he brings.
And as somebody who likes to shoot, and you take your share of threes, you make a lot of them. Yeah. I've got to think for you, does it give you more confidence knowing you have a player like Ryan down low? Do you, in the back of your mind, are you thinking that you're maybe a little more comfortable to fire up a three, knowing that there's a better chance at an offensive rebound with somebody like Ryan down low?
Yeah, because I know if I miss, there's a good chance he's going to get it and probably score, so it won't make me look as bad. So.
Fair enough. So, there we go. Yeah. Now, Ryan, what about you? Keaton, obviously new to the varsity team this year, and like we mentioned, he's the leading scorer so far. What has he brought to this team, and what does he mean to the Warriors?
Yeah, absolutely. He's coming in with a splash. He's got the hot hand so far this year. He's really shooting with a lot of confidence. Like you said, he likes to shoot, and he makes his threes at a pretty high rate, which is really nice for us. But, more than just shooting threes, he does a good job of using his shot to create drives and really affect the game in more ways than just based off shooting. And then in terms of defense, he's able to create opportunities and he rebounds really well from the guard position. So he just really brings a complete role, and he's really moved into a leading spot on our team, which is really nice.
We talked a little bit at the beginning of this interview about the 13 wins at the end of the season last year and about winning the district championship. For you, who's been on this team now, this is your third year, I think, on varsity. It's a different look in that you lose so many faces, especially at the guard position. You look at losing David Woodard from last year and Brady Edwards, Jordan Rice, Trey Holland transferring. So many unknowns going into the season. What is this team looking like for you right now in terms of – tell me who are some of the players that have really stepped into some of the roles that those guys vacated and have made the Warriors such a strong team right now?
In terms of a role that was left, really obviously, we have Jalen Nash running the point guard for us, which is really nice. He does a good job of spreading the wealth and getting everybody involved. Uchenna Achalanu was able to come off the bench and move up to varsity at the end of the year last year, and he really made a splash and impacted the game really well defensively, and he's doing more of the same this year in terms of playing really good on-ball defense and getting steals and all that, disrupting the ball handler for the other team. And in terms of other players, we have Noah Becker, Kalen Knowles, Cameron Egg, all guys that are moving into really good scoring roles and defensive impact players on our team.
Having Noah's experience last year from varsity certainly has to be a big factor for you guys too, right?
Yeah.
And Keaton, I'm noticing when I was at the game the other day, you got a freshman that's playing pretty well right now. Tell me a little bit about Madoon Bull and what he brings to the table.
Madoon, he's that player that you never know what you're gonna get from him. He can. When we played Marysville Pochuck, he was having kind of a quiet season, and then he comes out and scores 18 in one quarter.
Yeah.
So we're that.
18 in one quarter.
Yeah,
as a freshman. Okay.
Yep, 1 quarter, and that really surprised us. So now that happened, we're more confident. We're giving him the ball, and we know that he has more confidence, and that he's a freshman. So, he brings to the table scoring. He can score. He can play defense. He got length. He can rebound. So he's a good asset to the team.
Very much so. And then you got some other big men too. I know Joe Cooper's getting some playing time this year. You already mentioned, I think, Cameron, and then Eddie Sear doing a nice job too. So it's not just you down low. You're getting some help, right?
It's kind of nice, yeah.
Now, looking ahead, you guys have a huge game coming up on Tuesday, and it's one that I would really highly recommend folks getting out to. Stanwood, a team that I keep wanting to say they're undefeated, but they went down to San Diego over the holiday break and played one of the top California teams and lost.
Yeah.
But really a team that's, by most people's predictions, they're picking them to finish first in Wesco 3A this year. You only get to play them once all season, and right now I've got to tell you, I think a lot of folks, including myself, think you guys are right there in the top 2 or 3. So this is a big game on Tuesday night. Keaton, you and I were talking a little bit about it before we started rolling the camera. There aren't too many surprises these days, are there? This is a Stanwood team you guys feel like you know pretty well already, right?
Yeah, this goes back to like feeder and stuff. They're a team that has stayed together like throughout like since like 6th grade. So, and then they play on the same AU team, and we played them. Me and Ryan played them over the summer. So we know what to expect. They're great shooters. They have a great point guard. He's tall, so that makes it different at the point guard spot. So yeah, they're just gonna have to come out and play our best.
That point guard, AJ Martinka, about 5 inches taller than you, so that creates some interesting opportunities for you to, or maybe some challenges for that matter too. That'll be fun.
Foot on our point guard, so
that's right, Jalen Nash. Yeah. And now Ryan, for you, it's a tall Stanwood team too. They're lanky, so it'll be interesting for you down low. You're going to be challenged a little bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that can crush the glass and get to the hoop, so just got to stay out of foul trouble and see where it goes from there.
Definitely. And then you've got Linwood on Friday night at Linwood, so always fun when you get together with these. We already talked about Meadowdale, but another division rival, another Edmonds School District rival, a Linwood team that's actually playing pretty well this year compared to years past.
Yeah, absolutely. We have Mr. Richards is on our coaching staff, and he used to be the head coach there at Linwood. Last year, that seemed to fire them up quite well. They actually gave us a run for our money. That was one of our closest league games last year, and we can pretty much expect more of the same this year, and that it'll motivate them definitely, and they'll give us our best shot.
So now that we're really starting to get into Wesco play, what are the expectations? Do you guys, we talked about 13 games in a row, and that might be a little tough this year, but so what are some of the expectations for the team? Do you guys talk about goals overall? Is it in terms of getting to districts, winning districts, or do you kind of just take it one game at a time? Keaton, what's your philosophy on that?
We take it one game at a time because we can't look ahead. Could look past like some of these teams. They can come out and surprise us. We don't want to look past them. But we do have team goals. At the beginning of the season, we write down personal goals and team goals. And a lot of our team goals was make it to districts and try and make it to the dome, hopefully. But yeah, just one game at a time.
Sure. And Ryan, this is a team that came one game away from making it to the Tacoma Dome last year. Is that something that motivates you guys a little bit?
Absolutely. That left a real bitter taste in our mouth last year. Everyone, whenever you talk about it, they're always, so how did the O'Day game go last year? Just teasing you. And of course, that gave us a taste of what postseason basketball is going to be like, and we really feel like that gives us a better feel of what to expect going into this year, and how really it comes down to just that one regional game where if we win it, then we can take the next step and move on to playing in the state tournament. With that said, Coach Brown always says that the most important game is the next game.
Very well said. And the next game in this case is Stanwood on Tuesday at home. So it should be a fun game. Two of the top teams maybe in the state going head-to-head on Tuesday night over at Edmonds-Woodway High School. These two guys are going to be a big part of that game. Keaton, McKay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ryan Peterson, thank you.
Thank you.
And we are going to look forward to watching the Warriors not only on Tuesday, but throughout the next couple months, and seeing if they can maybe make it back to the districts and possibly to the Dome.
All right.
Sounds like the Edmonds-Woodway boys team is going to be an exciting one to watch this year again.
They really are, and this is a team that we had a lot of uncertainty about going into the season, with so many players either graduating or one transferring and another that was injured from football. But they've started to gel really well and playing exciting basketball too. They're one of the more exciting teams in the area. 2 losses this year so far, both non-conference games against quality opponents. And I can't emphasize it enough. The game on Tuesday at home against Stanwood is huge. Really, if they win that game, they might be in the driver's seat to win this conference this year. So really, if folks are wanting to support the Warriors or just wanting to watch good basketball, get on over there on Tuesday night at 7:15.
Okay, and the girls have a big game against Stanwood this week, too.
They do. The following night, Wednesday night, they're going to be up in Stanwood, and it's a Stanwood girls team that might be as good or if not better than their boys team. They're also undefeated. I had a chance to watch them a couple times over the week at the Mountlake Terrace tournament, playing extremely good basketball right now, and that's another game that could end up deciding who wins Wesco 3A on the girls' side of things. So if you're an Edmonds-Woodway supporter of basketball, and you just like to watch quality hoops, Tuesday night at Edmonds-Woodway, Wednesday night at Stanwood, and watch both the Spartans and the Warriors back-to-back.
Okay, and any other basketball games coming up this week?
We do. There's a handful of good games. The Edmonds-Woodway boys are then going to Linwood on Friday. Always fun to watch a rivalry game, and it's a Linwood team that's improved this year, so we'll be curious to see them. Mount Lake Terrace is hosting Arlington on Friday, two teams that are fairly evenly matched, so that could be a fun game. And then on the girls' side of things, we've got Linwood playing Edmonds-Woodway on Friday night also. Another very good game.
And always a rivalry.
Always a rivalry game, and not only that, but I think in years past, Linwood had the advantage with Michaela Pivick and Jordan Edwards, and they've graduated, but Linwood still is a very good team. So the pendulum is kind of swinging a little bit. That game could be very, very closely contested. So again, that's at Edmonds-Woodway State or High School Friday night. So if folks want to get out to that game, Meadowdale's hosting Snohomish on Friday as well. So if you're a Mavericks fan and you want to watch the ladies play basketball, get on over to the stable on Friday and watch them.
Okay. And do we have any wrestling results?
We do. We had the Pacific Coast tournament that we talked about on last week's show. That was a tournament that had 25 different schools up in Mount Vernon. A couple of our guys placing at that particular tournament, or placing in the top 5, I should say. Anthony Lindemood, who we had in studio last week, he finished in 4th place for the 160-pound. And then Abdul Ijada finished 5th at the 182-pound. So, again, invitational. This isn't necessarily a state tournament or anything that's local per se, but anytime you get these big tournaments where you have schools coming in from all over the area, they're always top-notch programs. So if you can place in the top 5 in your weight class, you've accomplished something. So congratulations to those two.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll be hearing more about wrestling and basketball and swimming.
And swimming too, yeah.
Starting next week when school gets back in session again and things start heating up.
Yeah, and I think swimming is still about another week away from really getting going again. But once they jump back in the pool, we'll cover them as well. And we've got
nice.
we'll
jump
have
back
a
in the pool.
You like that, right?
Yeah,
nice little segue.
That was very good.
Do what I can. So we'll have a lot of fun over the next couple months talking about all 3 of those sports and all the local athletes here from the Edmonds School District.
Okay. Well, thanks again for joining us. Happy New Year to everybody, and we will see you again next week.